Welcome to PLUSone, the series where each month I look at the free games on PlayStation Plus and tell you if they're worth the download. After all, the games may be free, but your time is valuable. Kicking off November is 2014's Worms Battlegrounds, the 90th game in the prolific Worms franchise. It's probably not the 90th, but that's gotta be close at this point. If you've ever played a Worms game before, this is that. If you haven't, the series is a turn-based tactics game where you control one or multiple worms and compete with a human or AI opponent to be the last team standing. The levels are usually procedurally generated with over 60 different weapons and gadgets at your disposal, so no two fights are ever the same. For example, you might have to arc a missile upwards to get a shot around some cover to hit the enemy, but you also have to account for the wind strength, how much power you put into the shot itself, and so on. Alternatively, you can outright blow up some of the terrain and flood the area so that the enemy team gets knocked off the map and into their deaths. The choice is up to you, and the consequences are also up to you. One mistake can be the difference between victory and defeat. Battlegrounds in particular doesn't add all that much to the franchise compared to the last one I played almost a decade ago, but in many ways that's not necessarily a bad thing. There are some new weapons sprinkled in, a full campaign mode, and a set of challenge missions, online play, and so on, so there's enough content here to keep you hooked if the initial gameplay does hook you in. And as always, the game is super tongue-in-cheek, with the narrator providing witty lines as you move through the campaign, and the worms themselves saying some funny references to pop culture. The series definitely shows its age in some regards though. The loading screens, simply put, are just bad. It feels like I'm playing a middle-era PS2 game with the way the loading screen itself speeds up and slows down as the game struggles to put everything in place. Additionally, somehow there's still not any sort of option to fast-forward enemy turns when playing against a computer. You still have to sit there in real time and wait as they slowly think about their plan of action, walk into position, aim their shot, and so on until it's back to your turn. The kicker is it actually feels slower than I remember Worms Armageddon being in this regard. It gives you extra time to think and plan your next move, but it also means that truly fast games aren't exactly possible even if you cut down the turn timer to the bare minimum. With friends, the Worms series is a ton of fun, and those wait times are lightened up by the fact that you can talk to somebody and distract yourself more easily from the game's bigger flaws. I think if you have friends to play the game with, locally or online, you'll have some great fun. Even playing online with strangers would be pretty enjoyable if you could actually find a lobby where everybody readies up. For the price of free, there's certainly enough content here to justify giving Worms a +1 to your collection if you've enjoyed the games before or if you've always been curious. The single player offering alone should keep you entertained for a decent bit of time, provided the game's occasionally plotting pace doesn't turn you away. And at only 2 GB, the game's not going to eat up a ton of space, so don't let that scare you away either. If you're not a big Worms fan, it can't hurt to give the game a shot, but if you miss it while it's free, I don't recommend that you buy Battlegrounds. It's regularly priced at $25, which is a pretty steep price for the series in 2017, and the much newer Worms WMD is only $5 more. From my research, that one sounds like the much better game, and that explains pretty well why this one is free. But what do you think about the Worms series? Do you have a favorite or a favorite memory of a match? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you want to find out if the other PS Plus games are right for you, make sure you subscribe.